In 1998, a normal American family in Louisiana began experiencing something terrifying. Their 2-year-old son, James Leininger, started waking up in the middle of the night, screaming in fear. He cried that his plane was on fire, that he was crashing into the ocean, and that he couldn't get out. At first, his parents thought it was just a child's imagination, but the nightmares didn't stop. Soon, James began drawing pictures of fighter planes, explosions, and a pilot trapped inside a burning cockpit. Then he started saying things no child should know. He said he had been a pilot in World War II, that his plane was shot down by the Japanese, and that he took off from a ship called the Natoma. His parents were shocked. They searched military records and found something chilling.
James in his nightmares described crashing into water, and in the research that we did for the story, these are the aircraft action reports from VC-81, about 400 pages of action report.
After my husband and I did extensive research based on what James had told us, we were able to determine that James was remembering the life of a fighter pilot who'd been killed during World War II at the Battle for Iwo Jima.
There was a real aircraft carrier called the USS Natoma Bay. It had fought in the Pacific during World War II. Then James gave another name, James Houston. His parents looked it up. There was a real pilot named James Houston Jr.
His name was James M. Houston Jr., and when his family sent us the initial package of photographs, we were amazed by the striking resemblance between James M. Houston Jr., the fighter pilot who was shot down in World War II, and our own son.
He had flown from the USS Natoma Bay, and he had been killed in 1945 when his plane was hit and crashed into the ocean. The details match what the child had been saying. James even knew the type of plane he flew, a Corsair, and he described how the engine was hit before the crash. Military reports later confirmed that was exactly how Houston's plane went down. As James got older, he remembered even more. He talked about fellow pilots, about life on the aircraft carrier, about how he had no time to escape, things no 2-year-old could possibly invent.
I was always looking for a logical explanation for James's nightmares and his knowledge of aviation. And many people have asked us, do we have an aviation or military background? And we don't. And that's what made James's recollections so much more uncanny, that he had this basic knowledge of military and aviation where there was no way he could be getting this information.
Years later, James's family met the relatives of the real pilot, and the boy recognized people he had never met before. For his parents, there was no doubt. Their son wasn't just having dreams. He was remembering the final moments of a life he once lived.
I was not just skeptical, I was adamant that this was not happening in my house, and my belief system rebelled against the concept and the idea of reincarnation and past lives.
It was important for me to write this book with my husband. Number one, to tell James's story. I actually think that what James experienced is not an uncommon phenomenon. I think probably a lot of children remember past lives when they're in the 2 to 5-year-old age bracket.
What we did was we listened, and we followed the things that our son gave us. It became an adventure. It became an adventure, a discovery that went thousands of miles, talking to hundreds of people, and establishing facts beyond any reasonable doubt of proof that this is not a coincidence. This is indeed the past life experience of a child, remembering the spirit and having the spirit of another person join this reality.